Good morning, beautiful community. It's Wednesday. It's time for the safe space. We're getting ready. I'm about to drive Jeff into work. Sometimes he can take himself, obviously, and get himself there, but sometimes I like to be the chauffeuress of the family and just, beep, beep, get the coffee and just, because I'm a this. I'm an influencer, and it's you don't get to go in to work when you're me. This is going into work, so I like to have my little schedule sometimes. I hope you're taking good care of yourself. Let us not forget to continue to take care of ourselves during this time. I was so sad. I'll tell you a little something about political violence. I was so sad about Minnesota. Just seemingly two wonderful people and a beautiful dog. Just innocent folks and violence from the far right. And I've dealt with my share of violence from the far right. I actually was talking to a friend yesterday who works for a nonprofit. When you're me and you've been doing this for a decade plus, this type of public figure activism, you get to know all the orgs, and you love all the orgs. You should really give to Trevor Project right now. By the way, you get to know all the orgs, but this is someone who worked for a different org and said that the director and the founder person, who I think is the title's director, founder person and the second in command person never travel together. This is an LGBTQ, plus rights org and activist organization. And they never travel together because the org would need to live on if something happened to them. So they never, even if they're speaking in the same place or doing the same travel or whatever, they don't travel together. Never same flight, never same car. And this has been true for their organization for long before Trump. This is a decades old organization, and they've done it that way for a long time. I grew up with a lot of violence. Famously, it's in my book How to Be You. Famously, I was stood up to the prom because the person who I had asked to go to prom with me, a young gentleman who I had asked to go to prom with me, got threats. I don't think it was threats of violence, but just said, well, I guess that is threats of violence. The stuff will happen if you show up to the prom. So stood me up to the prom. By the way, my lipstick is supposed to change color. You can discuss in the comments if it's changing, if it's changeable. This. It's like brown, but sometimes purple, but sometimes brown. Science! I grew up with a lot of violence, and I grew up with a lot of chaos. And being, let's just say I've had bullies my whole life, and bullies like to use violence as a tactic. I've dealt with bullies my whole life. And there are a couple things, I didn't really plan what I was going to talk about today, but there are a couple things I can offer you about that. About bullies, whether they're government, whether they're, in your child's life, whether they're in your life, whether they're a coworker, whether they're, no matter what they are. When someone's bullying, they're actually in a weak position. Because there are people who lead through strength, through community, through inspiring, through bringing people together, and obviously, plain as day, they don't need to bully anybody to bring them along. Because people want to be along. People want to be part of movements like that, governments like that, places like that. I once had a science teacher, can I tell you the story, who was so inspiring. She made us do a project. Each of us had to bring in a project where we did a Jello mold. Where I grew up, Jello molds, Jello salads were, a big thing. We had to do a Jello mold of the layers of the stratosphere and have like the certain kinds, like fruits to represent certain things like clouds and things that were in the layers of the Jello mold. I will never forget that for the rest of my life. So people want to be, are you enjoying this? Just checking, still with me? People want to be involved in those sorts of movements. People want to be involved and want to gather around those sorts of movements. And the other kinds of movements that are in weakness have to bully people in order to get things done. Because obviously No Kings showed we're not interested. We're not interested. We're not interested. We're not going to be there. We're not going to. And creaky wheel of the tank. It all shows that this is a very weak place for them. And the bullying is always an emblem of their weakness. Now, that's not an excuse for bullies. This is the recycling truck is coming by. I hope it's not bothersome. This is not a time for us to sit back. That's not what I'm saying, because they're weak. We need to still be doing our activism and our work to undermine all of the evil, terribleness, the meanness. And I was so sad about Minnesota because they were innocent people who were caught up in this. And that goes for me, that goes for other queer creators, that goes for other people who are targeted, women, people of color, disabled activists. It is the time when that bullying is, I'll say this, the bullying is not working. It's not winning. It's a place of weakness. They bully, the bullying doesn't work. That's our side of it. And even when I was a child, I understood that, because I had people beat me up and they would hit me and I would just, I was such a maven. I was such an amazing person. I would just look at them. They would hit me and I would just look at them. I didn't move my head side to side. I would just look at them. Because I felt somewhere deep in my soul, this is going to sound so weird, but I felt deep in my soul that if they could see the human being, that they would stop. Not always true, but it was something that I was trying when I was a child. I do sincerely hope that you're being kind to yourself today and every day, and that you are taking good care, that you are spreading love and kindness, that you are fighting back, but also that you're taking a break if you need to take a break, that you are being choosy. I was going to say stealthy in your activism, which is fine too, but choosy to pinpoint exactly how you want to engage and be an activist. And I care about you a lot. I think you're wonderful. Come to the webinar, July 1st. We're going to talk about transcending guilt. We're going to have a very good time transcending guilt. Guilt's a transaction, by the way, just so you know. I'm going to be talking about it. And stay in touch. Email me, please. Let me know how you're doing. Please, take good care while they take the recycling away. Life goes on. I love you very much. Be good to yourself and others.